aṣóńṣó abẹ́ aṣóńṣó abẹ́ ọ̀dàrà olórí agbẹ́rùlé o.
aṣóńṣó abẹ́
ọ̀dàrà olórí agbẹ́rùlé o.
aṣóńṣó abẹ́
láàlú olórí agbẹ́rùlé o.
aṣóńṣó abẹ́
bàbá mi olórí agbẹ́rùlé o.
aṣóńṣó abẹ́
láàlú tàrẹ wá o.
tàrẹ ṣàṣà tàrẹ wá bá mi.
láàlú tàrẹ wá o.
tàrẹ ṣàṣà tàrẹ wá bá mi.
láàlú tàrẹ wá o.
tàrẹ ṣàṣà tàrẹ wá bá mi.
ọkọ̀ lù tàrẹ wá o.
tàrẹ ṣàṣà tàrẹ wá bá mi.
ta ló dàpọ̀ nílùú.
èso ọ̀dàrà ló dàpọ̀ nílùú rẹ̀mẹ̀tẹ̀.
ta ló dàpọ̀ nílùú.
èso ọ̀dàrà ló dàpọ̀ nílùú rẹ̀mẹ̀tẹ̀.
tá ń dàpọ̀ nílùú.
èso ọ̀dàrà ló dàpọ̀ nílùú rẹ̀mẹ̀tẹ̀.
ẹni ṣẹbọ lóore.
èṣù
bí ẹni ṣèṣù lóore.
èṣù
bí ẹni ṣẹbọ lóore.
èṣù
ẹni ṣèṣù lóore.
èṣù
yóò gbé o èṣù ni ó gbé yá mi.
yóò gbé o èṣù ní ògbéyà mi.
yóò gbé o èṣù ni ó gbé yá mi.
yóò gbé o èṣù ní ògbéyà mi.
yóò pa o èṣù ni ó pọ̀tá mi.
yóò pa o èṣù ní òpọ̀tà mi.
yóò pa o èṣù ni ó pọ̀tá mi.
yóò pa o èṣù ní òpọ̀tà mi yányán.
alangajiga alangajiga èṣù ó gbé wa o elégbèjàdó.
alangajiga
èṣù ó gbé wa o elégbèjàdó.
alangajiga
a ò rí gún a ò gbọ́dọ̀ ṣẹbọ.
alangajiga
a ò rákàlà a ò gbọ́dọ̀ ṣòro.
alangajiga
èṣù ó gbé wa o elégbèjàdó.
alangajiga.
Abora boy, this is Olufakola Day tapping in with you, and we welcome you to our morning service, our Ile Juba Ifa Temple service. Thank you for joining us today. I want to remind folks to like and share as we start. Before we begin with our sermon, we want to begin with prayer. So if you all can find a place where you feel empowered, please pay homage to Olodumare. Share. Mojuba loro, mojuba leda, mojuba loro mari. Mojuba bobo rumale, mojuba boy male, mojuba boy timbili solomaya. Mojuba miss no the deal so dance man. Mojuba dars, mojuba bass, singing mojuba for Daniels, mojuba for dance walkers, mojuba dalia, mojuba sign, mojuba now, mojuba for ones, mojuba for walkers, mojuba Jenny, mojuba Kitty Belly, mojuba Sally, mojuba James Lewis, mojuba Benin, Shino, Jomo, no Black Cardinals, Agustin Jomo, mojuba to all of our mojuba, Solan Bade Popola, Baba Ifa, mojuba, Baba Robert Edmonds, mojuba, Catherine Edmonds, mojuba, to all of my elders, those who supported me on this path to be found. A jog bear, he hears people please, accept please. He hears people please, improve please. He talks people ensure that the talk is completely absorbed. He hears people please, accept please, name fine. He hears people please, improve please, name should I. He talks people ensure that the talk is completely absorbed. My voice Shanla. Or Shanla, you the person most one being. The person most one cannot fail to impress when. Strike fogs when soon's rainfall, bullfrogs when soon's downpour. It is whatever that courage upon. True tells earth, with it accepts. Whatever the big rat tells earth, with it accepts. All what I tell you, if I please accept and approve them. Autorite. To show gratitude upon gratitude, of our gratitude to display benevolence upon benevolence, is the of our benevolence. Whoever does not show gratitude for yesterday's benevolence, such a person not feed today's gratuity. Please decorate C5 to the 401 of Rumeland. We're going to Mayo Pue, Audubon Fuji, exhausted decorate C5 to Rumeland. Going to Mayo Pue, Audubon Fuji. I'm grateful. I see my gratuity. I'm grateful for yesterday's favor. I see today's gratuity. Autorite. We're very grateful. Michelle. Awa dupe, awa bore, awa dupe, awa bore, adupe ana, awa bore tune, Olodumare, awa dupe, awa bore, awa dupe, awa bore. Adúpẹ́ náà ó borí tó ní orí àánú. Àwa dúpẹ́, àwa borí. Àwa dúpẹ́ àwa borí. Adúpẹ́ àwa borí tó ní irúmọlẹ̀. Àwa dúpẹ́. Àwa bore, wadupe àwa bore, adupe ana, àwa bore tunebo legun orisha. Olodumare and the divinities, we thank you for life, health, strength, food, clothing, and shelter. We thank you for all the things that you provided us. We thank you for everything. We ask that you would forgive us for anything that we might have done wrong, anything that we might have done that was taboo. Share. Eros and tutu pounded down without soup can be very difficult to consume. These decorations brought to tutu, the child of our venerable. He was full of dark character. He was bad attitude. I prevented him from making fun of me. Now comes to the tutu. Now come to beg on behalf of tutu. How many children does? If I have that he would cast one out, those who beg on behalf of tutu. If I please forgive us for anything that we may have done wrong. Forgive us for sins. Forgive us for taboos that were broken. Support us. At this time, Ifa, we ask that you move all evil energy out of our way. Move away death. Move away sickness. Push away cases and controversy. Ward off fights, litigation, losses in our lives. Ward off witchcraft and negative energy from us. Bring forth to us long life, wealth, good spouse, good children, peace of mind, joy, healing, success, victory. Bring forth all those good things of life. Lara, Roomless says time to sleep. I put his time to sleep. When the day dawn, I met a room in the 16th room where he covered his head with a flowing gown full of lies. He was wearing dress full of blessings. He was snoring heavily. They told him that delegate from his disciple, rolling proud of what the delegate had brought. They told him they brought 2 rats with them running, 2 fish racing, swimming, 2 birds with them flight, 2 girls with big livers. Aruna said that's not enough to wake him up. I admit my ignorance, he's educated me. No tuna karaba, I hide myself in your bosom and survive. Tuna karaba, all king masquerades, I got your own people. All king masquerades, I got your own people to form riches because of children. You are the leaders, you are the followers. Leaders are the ones who show the followers wisdom. Aruna told them to get alligator pepper, to get cola, to get bitter cola, to get alcohol. The couple got the alligator pepper, got the corn and the bitter corn. They got the alcohol. That's right. If told them to get alligator pepper, get corn, get bitter corn, alcohol. The couple got the alligator pepper, the corn, the bitter corn. No. In fact, we had procured all of these things. It is with eyes at the heavenly stars who link at the stars below. We desire to have good spouse. If such good eyes, my spouse, you just look at me with a rumor. When you're full of it, look at me throughout your children to bear many children and such good eyes, a child to use and look at what that greater play. Before long, not too far, join us in the midst of all Iran life. Share. Ifa. Support us, guide us, direct us, protect us, and keep us safe. Help us to hear a word of Ifa today. Move my ego out of the way and help us to hear Ifa. Protect me, protect all of those who are listening to us today. Emma coming many ama, Emma coming many ano. Emma kami mini adelokun. Itamole tori ifa lonimi. Ebora timpanini. Eni banami. Ahun ati ifa lelejo. Ifa, come to our support, come to our rescue. We ask at this time that you would continue to push away death, push away sickness, push away cases and controversy, push away fights, litigation, losses, and outright fights. Help us this week to feel the blessings of long life, good spouse, good children, wealth, peace of mind, joy, healing, success, seven-figure income. If I help us to feel and perceive these blessings this week. If I would call on Oshitra, tiny other fetal subu. Stripe of a command is not big enough to use his headgear. Had it been enough to use his headgear, I would have taken it home and done my hair with it. Easy five decorations to Aruela. We're going special mission. Jibbling. Con look to me simple me. Once I said make rich. Con Aruela, respecting and jibbling. Oshitra, to get a wool. Oshitra. I kick in a baggy sa. Yeah, I check trouble against you. Can't stop for me. When you see Ibana, if no one tells you should be wealthy, she'll be wealthy. I kick in a baggy sa, and the mouth of ones I keep on share in the mouth of an award. If no one should have joy, she'll have joy. I kick in a baggy sa, and the mouth of an awards I keep on share in the mouth of an award. If an award says you should have victory, she'll have victory. I kick in a baggy sa, and the mouth of an awards I keep on share in the mouth of an award. To sing, surely shall it be. I share. Thank you. Àṣẹ òrìṣà lẹ́nu mi o, àṣẹ òrìṣà lẹ́nu mi. Gbogbo tí mo bá màmá wí o, ìlú mo lè ó bà. Ifá ó pa o, àṣẹ òrìṣà lẹ́nu mi. Bí mo dúró, tí mo súre. Bí mo bẹ̀rẹ̀, tí mo súre. Bí mo kúnlẹ̀, tí mo súre. Timo jọkọ timo ṣúre ire tí mo ṣù orí ti bó orí ẹni làrúrẹ ẹni yọ orí ẹni làrúrẹ ẹni mojúlọ mi ò fà wá mórí orí ẹni làrúrẹ ẹni ṣe ọbọrẹ jásù Ifá ò bá Ọlọ́run àti bàjájú Ifá ò bá Ọlọ́run ó ṣe àrú ìlà Ifá ti bó. Olódùmarè, and the divinities, we thank you for life, health, strength, food, clothing, and shelter. We thank you for all the things that you have provided us. We ask that you would continue to push away death, sickness, cases, controversy, with our fights, litigation, losses, and our fights from us, and bring forth to us long life, wealth, good spouse, good children, peace of mind, joy, healing, success, and all good things of life. Ifá, help us to manifest our destiny. Ashe, Aboru, Aboye, Aboshishe, Aboto. Thank you all so much for joining us. Once again, this is Oluofa Kola Day of Idinka Ifa Temple, and we thank you for joining us. You could be anywhere, but you are rocking with us at this time. So before we begin, I encourage everyone to like and share immediately. This is going to be a blessing for us today, this sermon. So I want to thank all of you, first of all, for following us through the process of discussing these various strategies for survival. I wanted to do something that would support us as Ifa followers and as people within this system, as Black folks, brown folks, as folks who are marginalized in this community, to assist us in surviving and even thriving during this particular perilous time, not only in America, but throughout the world. How are we going to survive it? We spoke about the mind. We spoke about Ori. We also discussed the body. And today we're going to discuss the spirit. As we contemplate the concept of the spirit, let us look at one way that our spirit expresses itself and is perceived. Let us look at the concept of aura. Webster's dictionary discusses aura as the emanation surrounding the body of a living creature and regarded as an essential part of that individual. In this case, a plant has an aura, a human being has an aura, a place surrounding a town, it too has an aura. When we engage in specific ritual and even offerings like prayer, ebo, using our koshe, using our seje, or using talisman, we are participating in a process that will affect our aura and the energy of ourselves and or the situation or thing around us. When this aura is perceived, either empirically with our senses or even with our spirit, there's an aspect of knowing that occurs. You ever had a feeling about a person and that feeling turned out to be indeed true? You ever had a feeling or a vibe at a party and then decided, you know what, I'm going to leave this party early because something don't feel right? And then the next day you hear that that party got shot up? This is the spiritual. This is the spiritual. And when we come in contact with the energy of that spirit, that aura, if we are sensitive to it and trust our intuition, then we can tap into the warning and or tap into the blessing. Psychologically and scientifically, there's research that's been done that states that if we surround ourselves with people who are high achievers, that we will be affected by their aura to achieve as well. And when we come in contact with those people and we surround ourselves with good folks, our achievement goes up 15%. Yet, when we surround ourselves with people who are low achievers, who are negative people, who always got something bad or negative to say, then our performance and our level of achievement drops and goes down at least 30%. The work of spiritual people is to keep their aura strong. The work of spiritual people is to keep their aura clean. As Ifa followers, we have to know that any problem, any illness, any tragedy, in order for that thing to manifest and touch us and take hold upon us, it must first happen spiritually. The attack must first come spiritually. If you are out of alignment with your spirit and your body, then you will ignore the signs. You will ignore the warning. Example, before the cancer came, there was inflexibility, there was grief, there was lack of forgiveness that had entered into the spirit, into the aura. Before the loss of that job came, there was a warning that revealed itself in the spirit. Before that relationship went sour, there was a hint into the character of that person that we ignored on the way. Everyone say, type in the chat, the spirit knows. The spirit knows. I was reading a book called The Body Keeps the Score. And the premise of this book is that the things we consume as food, the environment, our entertainment, our trauma, these things have an effect on us, even if we don't perceive it. The little things that become habitual create a landslide effect within the body. And the thing that seems as if it were the straw that broke the camel's back was really the pressure that had built up over time, over years of neglect, over years of bypassing. The body indeed keeps the score. Yes, but the truth is that the spirit keeps the tally, and the spirit gives notification. So, as we look at this from the perspective of Ifa people, people who practice Ifa, what we need to understand is that these akoshe, these aseje, these ebo that we offer, those things that we do, all they is for the enhancement and the fortification of our aura. All they are for is for the enhancement and the fortification of our spirit. When we have extreme anxiety, extreme fear, doubt, and even wickedness in character, we sabotage our own spiritual protection. Ebo, offering, is something that helps us to get back on track. Following the advice of Ifa helps us to get back on track. So let's use some Ifa verses at this time to help us understand this message. In the Odu Ifa Iwuri Meji, Ifa says, "To see is to say, refusal to speak out amounts to iniquity. If you continue to speak out incessantly, it will appear as if you are the one behind the misfortunes." This was Ifa declarations to the Obuko, the offspring in Igodo town, and to Ekun when going to the farm beside Obuko in Igodo, and to Ikoko when going to farm beside Obuko. They were all advised to offer Ebo, and only Obuko complied. Orumla says, "It is time to consume fresh meat. Give meat to Ekun to eat." So in this story, there are three main characters. One is Obuko, and we'll call Obuko Higo. The other is Ekun, and that is the leopard, and Ikoko is the hyena. So in this story, the he-goat was known because he was a very, very truthful and honest person. Anytime there is any development, occurrence, and even a crime within the community, the he-goat was the individual who would testify. He was the one who would speak his mind on any occurrence. He was the one to say it as it is. And the he-goat did not mince words. No matter how important the offender of the crime was, if the he-goat saw it and the event was wrong and it was a crime, the he-goat would speak on it. The he-goat would tell the tale. He would tell the truth. His character was such that when he saw the crime, he would say the truth and he would keep repeating it over and over and over and over again. And the guilty parties would hear this and they would be very offended. Didn't matter who they were in the community. He spoke his mind and he didn't care about the feelings of that offender. So one day, the he-goat went for Ifa consultation and he wanted to just check on his general well-being. The Babalao told him that it was good for him to be the one who spoke the truth. But he cautioned Obuko. He cautioned him and said that you can tell the truth, but you don't need to be repeating it over and over and over and broadcasting it, because you will become a nuisance in the community. He then advised him that whenever he saw anything, he needed to just say it once and then keep his mouth shut. It was not his job to broadcast. In that sense, as I said before, others would hate him. He was also told to offer a bow, and that there were two very strong and powerful individuals who lived very close to him. And these individuals would do all they could to bring him down. He must avoid those individuals at all cost. And he was also warned that these individuals planned to kill him because of his big mouth and his truthfulness. These were individuals that the he-goat had told the truth about. And those individuals had suffered misfortunes as a result of the truth that the he-goat had told of their evil deeds. He-goat was told to do everything in moderation. He was also then advised to offer ebo, and the ebo would be raw meat. And what he needed to do is get this raw meat and put it by his house. Put it near the entrance of his home. Then the leopard and the hyena, these were the perpetrators. These were the two wicked individuals. These individuals would lie, they would steal, they would kill people, and they would blackmail people. They would set folks up to fight against each other. And the he-goat had seen all of their behaviors and told. And they both wanted to kill him. So the leopard then began to farm on the left side of where Obuko's farm was. And the hyena began to farm on the right side of the property where the he-goat property was. And as we would have it, both the leopard and the hyena, they went for Ifa consultation, and it happened to be the same exact Babalawo that the he-goat had gone to. And they went to the Babalawo, and what they wanted to know if they would be successful in bringing down the he-goat. The Babalawo told them that they needed to be truthful and honest at all times. They were also told not to think, say, or do anything evil. They were told that their bad character would only lead them to never have rest of mind. They would always be getting corrected by those who saw their evil deeds. They too were advised to do things in moderation, never do things in excess. So the leopard and the hyena left the home of the Babalawo in great anger. This intensified their plans against the he-goat. They then decided to approach the home of the he-goat. They would lure him out into the night and kill him. So they had to carry out their evil deed in the nighttime hour. The he-goat, on this day, after he had offered his own ebo, he arrived at his home and he put the raw meat outside. The hyena came first. The hyena came and he was ready to get the he-goat. As the he-goat was going into his home, the hyena saw the raw meat and he thanked his lucky stars, essentially, that he had a free kill. He had not only a free kill of the meat at the side, but he also had a free kill of the he-goat. So the hyena came and he began to eat the raw meat. While the hyena was eating the meat, the leopard thought to himself, the hyena's taking a little longer than I expected to give the call. So he tracked him, and he found the hyena eating this meat. And the leopard thought to himself, oh, so he has killed and consumed the he-goat by himself. He's left me out. He's not leaving any for me. He's not sharing. So the leopard pounced on the hyena. And the leopard and hyena fought until the leopard killed the hyena. The leopard sustained some injuries from the fight. And as a result, those injuries became infected, and 7 days later, the leopard died. So in this story, first of all, let's point out some things. Number one, the hyena and the leopard are both predators. They both eat meat. The goat has no teeth to consume anything except for grasses. This is a metaphor for us. The goat is weak in relation to the strength and power of the leopard and the hyena. Many of us are weak. Many of us are disenfranchised. Many of us do not have the power. This does not mean that we are not gifted or we are not valuable. It only means that we do not have the same amount of power as our oppressor. Have you ever been surrounded by enemies that are much stronger, much more powerful, much more resources than you? And you could lose because you speak the truth. That is what we are dealing with. So it is wisdom and preparation that wisdom brings that helps one to succeed. The he-goat has no teeth, yet his enemies devoured each other because he followed the prescription. That's the first point, y'all. To have spiritual fortification, you must follow the prescription. No matter how strange it might sound, there is wisdom at what at first makes no sense because we simply are not elevated enough to see down the road. Follow the prescription. I want to go into this next point and use the Odu Ifa Ogbe Hunle to support it. Ifa says, hunger cannot set in the stomach for other matters to have space for deliberation. That was the one who cast Ifa for Orunmila when he was going to snatch the day of wailing away from death. He was advised to offer Ebo. He complied. Before long, not too far, join us in the midst of abundant well-being. So many of us already know this story, but let us tell it again. Every 5 days, death would come, and he would come into the world and he would kill as many people as he could find within their youth. In this sense, he would come and wreak havoc, wreak chaos. He would bring tragedy. Expectant mothers would lose their children as stillborn, or they would have spontaneous miscarriages. Eku, death was coming and would do this just indiscriminately, would just come and have a field day on human beings. There was weeping and wailing and gnashing of teeth because of these tragedies. And the magnitude of these tragedies, there would be loads of group death, problems. So Orunmila recognized the suffering of his people, and he decided he wanted to find the solution. He went for Ifa consultation so that he could bring a stop to these tragedies. The Babalawo told Orunmila that all he needed to do was offer a bowl with 2 kola nuts and 2 orogbo, 2 bitter kola nuts, 1 bottle of gin, and he should give those things to his own Ifa, as well as he should, on those mornings, he should offer a bowl, or she offer that akuna bowl, and also feed Eshu Odara with foods on that same day. Orunmila followed the prescription. And when Iku, death, came to the earth, Iku went straight to Orunmila's house. And as he went to Orunmila's house, the person he met at the front door was Eshu. And he spoke to Eshu, and Eshu asked him, Iku, what are you doing here? Death said, I've come to kill Orunmila's children. Eshu then told him, they're easy to find. They got these brown and green beads on their wrists and around their necks. So as a result, Iku said, that's fine. I'll be able to find them easily. So he decided to go on his journey. Eshu then stopped him and said, well, you've come a long way. Why not have food and drink? Death reluctantly accepted, yet he was relieved and refreshed after he had consumed the food and the drink that Eshu had given him. When Death finished this feast, then he proceeded to go on his mission. But before he could go on his mission completely, Eshu stopped him and he said, what are you going to do? Iku said, I'm going to kill Orunmila's children, like I told you. Eshu said, you're going to kill those children? He said, yes. Eshu then said, you can't kill those who've been benevolent to you. You can't do something against someone who has fed you and been good to you. Iku said, what do you mean? The food that you have consumed. Orunmila provided that food. When we look at this Ifa gives us the basis for what we know today as Oshe Ifa. Every 5 days, this is the process of us communicating with Ifa in order to know how to solve problems before they even start, before they get too big or too out of control to handle. Every Oshe Ifa, we, as Ifa practitioners, we cast kola nuts, we cast bitter kola nuts, we use palm oil, we use gin, we feed Eshu Odara, we feed Orunmila, and we ask questions. And those are geared to stop those negative forces, those ajogun, to stop them in their tracks before bringing problems. This leads me to the second point. And the second point is, everybody type in the chat, check in. Check in. I know in hip hop they have this concept of checking in. You go to a city you don't know, check in with somebody who knows. So check in. If you want to stop tragedy, untimely death, incessant illness, then you must check in. Tap in with Ifa. Tap in with Orunmila. Tap in with Eshu Odara. Be a real devotee. Even the forces of chaos and destruction have to follow certain laws. They too must check in with the doorman, Eshu. Every 5 days, do your Oshe Ifa for your spiritual check in and check up. That alone will show you what's coming, and it will give you the clues and the cues on how to neutralize the negativity. In closing, I want to talk about Owarin Isang. Ifa says, there is something inside the termite hill. It is making some frightening sound. There is something in the ant hill. It is making a horrifying sound. This was the Ifa cast for Adagudu, the son of Agboniregun Orunmila. When he was in the midst of enemies, he was advised to offer a bow. He complied. Behold, Adagudu is my true son. Please step forward. Do not step backwards. There is a trap in the back. Adagudu is my true child. What is Ifa saying here? Like, Ifa's giving him a warning that, hey, don't step back, step forward. There's something behind you. Ifa gives us divine guidance and divine direction to its true children in order to protect his true children and vanquish the enemies of his true children. In this story, Adagudu there was a trap that was made for him, and those individuals had dug a hole, and they covered the hole with a mat, and they wanted him to step backwards and fall into the trap. But he had cast Ifa, he had offered a bow, and Ifa gave him the heads up that the enemigos were trying to destroy him. Adagudu followed Ifa's advice. He followed the prescription, and his enemies were exposed and vanquished. The last and final point today is this: make yourself a child of Olodumare. Make yourself a child of Orunmila. Make yourself a child of good character. How do we do this? Ifa says, in Irete Olota, our houses are widely separated from each other. Our routes are not the same. If we're to be that we had to take the same route, I would have followed you, and I had accompanied you home. This was the Ifa cast for Biala when planning to become the student of Orunmila. You advised to offer a bow the way our father moves. Our father moves like that of an ant. The movement of our father is like that of an ant. Only those who can follow an ant, those are the ones who can follow Edu. The movements of our father is like an ant. In this, Ifa is saying that the movement of Orunmila is like an ant, and Orunmila is our father. If we want to be a child of Orunmila, if we want to be a child like our father, we got to be like our father. How do we follow an ant? What are the attributes of an ant? The ant, let's talk about it. The ant is focused. The ant is focused on the goal and will not allow anything to deter him or her away from that goal. Nothing can get in the way of an ant. Nothing can stop the ant from penetrating. The ant is relentless. The ant will move over the obstacle, burrow under the obstacle, or go around it. The ant will move in community. The ant works with the community members. An ant is a hard worker and shares with his or her community. That is their benevolence. An ant also is strong. It can shoulder a heavy burden. Over 10 times its own weight the ant can carry. We need to be like this. We must follow Ifa with focus and humility, knowing that the obstacle will either be removed or we will be shown how to go around it, under it, or over it. We must work persistently and work with our community. Exhibit the elements of good character and benevolence. We must also be able to shoulder a heavy weight, the weight of insult at times, the weight of delayed gratification will come at times, the weight of delayed blessings will come at times, the weight of needing to be patient, and the weight of needing to forgive. We must follow our father, Orunmila, as he too moves like that of an ant. Aboru, aboye, aboshishe, aboto. Thank you once again for joining us. We appreciate you. Please like and share this message. I have a couple of announcements for you today. Number one, we have had our Itarogun. The Odu was Ogbe Irete. Please go and you can check the videos and see the messages. I believe it was earlier in the week. I want you to check that because we're going to be offering the Ebo soon. So if you want to contribute to Itarogun, please send your Owo, your money. Will be offering that Ebo like tomorrow. Along with that, if you like what we're doing and you want us to continue to share this information and do what we're doing, please donate so we can keep the lights on, keep things going, and we're also looking for a space. Also, now on the third Thursday of this month, we will be having Makings of Men. We've shifted the format. It's going to be live and everyone will have the opportunity to benefit from the conversation. Those of you who know, you saw the last one we had. It was very important and extremely great. Such a good conversation with Huno Iletunji, a good friend of mine. And we had such a great conversation. So run it back. Go take a look at that and enjoy. Take note. A lot of great information was shared, and we'll also have another one, as I said, on the third Thursday of March. Along with that, March 21st is our book club. We had our book club last month in February on the 21st, the first meeting of it. The book we're reading is Sky Full of Elephants by Sibo Campbell. You got to go and check it out. Very, very interesting, very, very powerful book. This will be our second installment. So those of you who are interested, please tap in. We've got a lot of great things to offer our community. So I want to go in. Let me log on to the chat real quick. And I want to shout out everyone who joined us. Ekaro, Allison, good to see you. Thank you so much for joining us. Aboru, Aboye, Aboshise, thank you. Also, Awojola Fadeke, good to see you. Ia Ajatena, good to see you. Ofun Ajatena, Ia Aboru, Aboye, Ashe, the Spirit knows. The Spirit knows. Thank you. Good to see you, Jojo King. Aboru, Aboye, to you. Baba Anthony McFarland, thank you for joining us. Thank you for joining us. Amosun, Ashe. Thank you so much for joining us. All right, yeah, you got to check in. You got to tap in. That's why we always say, tap in, get tapped in. All right, Aboru Boy, Fashola, good to see you. Good to see you. Thank you so much, Danielle. Good to see you. Aboru Aboye, yes. We checking in. All right, Allison. Yes, it is important to check in. Yes. Ashe. Ashe, thank you, thank you, thank you. All right. Thank you all for joining us. Thank you for sharing within the chat. I like to have such an active chat. Yes, Allison, thank you for sharing that. You are very welcome. Okay, here's a long one. All right. Move like the ant. Yes, focused and humble. All right. Hey, Maisha, good to see you. Good to see you once again for Shola. Fadeke, yes. Makings of Men was beautiful and incredible. So join us, tap in. All right. I thank you all for joining us. Shout out to those people on Instagram and YouTube, Facebook, all of that. Thank you for joining us. Like I said, if you want to learn more, you can go to the website. All that information is below. If you want to send any donations, please do. We look forward to it, and we will be tapping in again on the third Sunday of the month. This is the first Sunday, and we'll be tapping in on the third, and that will be our second Ile Juba. All right, with that, let us pray. Olodumare, we thank you for life. We thank you for health. We thank you for food, clothing, and shelter. We thank you for our spirit. Help us to have the spiritual protection that we definitely need. Help us to have the spiritual protection that we desire. Help us to move in the way that you would have us to move. Help us to move like you and move like children of the Irumule. Guide us throughout this week, fortify us, protect us from negativity and problems. Help us to excel even in the midst of problems. Thank you for joining us. Aboru, Aboye, Aboshishe, Agboato. We'll see you next time.
Alone for this time, returning to the peace of mind.